Hello everyone. I hope you are doing well today. There is about a 99% chance this video will be demonetized considering I want to discuss the C word. And no, not Australia's favorite C word, the other much worse one that I would pay very good money to never hear again in my life. Unless it is at a bar. Cheers. The good old Wu flu, the big Rona, the Kung Pao sicken, the Kungfluenza, the Koof, that has imprisoned us all in our own homes for over a, what is it, year and a half? Unless you're rich, of course, then it is just a regular Tuesday. But before I get into why we need to start eating the rich, I'm just joking, I love you guys, I'm just incredibly jealous. Let me get to our sponsor. Another sponsor, Lauren? How does she keep getting away with it? That's right. Who else is going to fund my on-the-ground investigative adventure this month, and also your future? Because quite frankly, the world is a disaster right now, going to hell in a handbasket. The inflation rate in the US has just soared to a 29-year high. You heard that right. It hasn't been this bad since 1992. Before I was even born. That is a huge problem for all of us with food and gas prices soaring, and it is definitely terrible if you plan on retiring anytime soon. But there are absolutely options to ensure the value of your savings are not wiped out, like backing your money by something tangible. Noble Gold specializes in retirement planning and IRAs. They're also there if you're just looking to diversify. I love crypto, but I also have gold because it's really good to have solid value you can hold in your hands, aside from the increasingly regulated and volatile internet sphere. And this month, they're offering a 1-ounce American Eagle solid silver proof coin with every IRA or 401k taken out. It is hard to relax when inflation is this high, but there are options like Noble Gold that can give you peace of mind. You can check out their website in the links below if you are interested. All right, let's jump into things. We hear a lot about mental health today and how it is just as, if not even more important than physical health. And as much as the push for this comes with mollycoddling people who really do just need to grow a pair, or as 2015 me would say, get out of their safe space, they do have a point. It's fair to say we have actually made strides in treating mental health far better than we did in the past. But wait, if mental health is so important, why has it been thrown completely out the window during this pandemic? Why is it that we have travel restrictions for millions of people whose mental health is being completely disregarded, unable to see family, friends, and even dying relatives, yet at the same time, Olympians and the rich can travel across the globe just fine? The only people whose rights and mental health seemingly matter right now are those well into the upper class and those who entertain them. And that is why I've decided to become a communist. No. Communism in practice is just classism with extra levels of gaslighting. I actually did not realize just how bad things were until I traveled myself for a funeral. And let's just add up some costs here. Due to the reduced flight numbers, costs of airline tickets are well over doubling for some countries. Check out a one-way ticket from London to Sydney these next couple of months, going for up to $30,000. That is something even the upper middle class can't afford. Now, if you manage to find a flight that is remotely affordable to travel at the moment, you must get a COVID test. For me, that cost $400 for just 2 tests, because if you're getting them for personal travel, you have to get them through a private lab. And we're not even done yet. If you even want to get on the plane, usually there's some requirement that you have a quarantine spot booked on the other end. In my case for Canada, a mandatory government-approved hotel, which is a minimum of $1,000 to $1,500 for just 3 days. Or you can just not do the quarantine hotel, which will be a $5,000 fee from the Canadian government, which means essentially a quarantine pass for the wealthy, who apparently can't spread COVID, I guess. And these prices are cheap compared to some countries. I spoke to one family on my layover who were returning home to Australia after living abroad for years, and for all of them, the total quarantine hotel cost was well over $7,000. And there's no just skip it fee like Canada. I'm starting to seriously find myself under the impression that the politicians putting these regulations in place are entirely unaware of how the average person lives. People spend years saving up for a single vacation with their family. So doubling those prices, tripling them with all of these extenuating conditions has made it near impossible for the average individual to travel. Even going a short distance has been massively cracked down on. A month ago, I needed to catch a bus to a different city, and it wasn't available due to COVID restrictions, but flights, which were 4 times the price, were still available. Uber Pool, which saved so many working class people insane travel prices, gone. This is make or break stuff for families. Even just basic enjoyment of life and entertainment. A $70 concert ticket is a luxury for many. Make that $170 because they need to put space between each seat at the concert now and hire COVID-safe enforcers. The 50% of people not attending after that will be lower class people, obviously. Choice and vaccine status has also been made a plaything for the rich. You're starting to see a divide being put into place for those vaccinated and unvaccinated, with one gig promoter hitting the headlines for selling cheap $18 tickets to those who have taken the jab and then charging $1,000 US for anyone who didn't have it. If you're rich enough, you can bypass all the pain and restrictions when it comes to not getting vaccinated just by paying for it, an option the vast majority do not have. That has nothing to do with health. Paying $1,000 doesn't suddenly make you unable to spread COVID. I have never seen something exacerbate the wealth divide so drastically as COVID. And business owners are just as, if not more, affected than the consumers. When shops have to shut down for just essential services, it is always the small local businesses who get screwed over and the large chains staying open. Theaters, gone. Small local theaters, no more. Go to Netflix, go to Prime Video. All of the clients of a local clothing shop, nope, go straight to Kmart. That's the one that's staying open, benefiting the guys at the top and screwing over the small businesses. The data even shows that while everyone else is struggling, big chains are thriving with record numbers. Take a look at Kohl's, for example. The panic buying that left supermarket shelves bare has had an upside for both grocery rivals. Kohl's saw sales revenue rise 12.9% overall, up by $9.2 billion compared to this time last year. The figures released in Kohl's 2020 third quarter sales results earlier this week also showed there had been big increases in demand across categories, particularly in grocery, health, home, and meat. Whenever I read stuff like this, I am left wishing the communists that hated me were actually communists and not just LARPing online, because if they actually cared about the lower and working class, poor lockdown policies would be the biggest issue for them. It is literally the perfect example of classism in action. The fact that the rich are getting richer from it and the poor are getting poorer by no fault of their own, but due to dirty government preference, price manipulation, and favoritism is the worst concoction of government failure and corporate greed. And the very people who are supposed to be railing against this are telling everyone who talks about it that they're a conspiracy theorist who must shut up. The battlefield of current communists and socialists is against other working class people who the elites have gaslit them into thinking are their enemies. Great job, guys. Awesome work. At this point, you might as well just join up with Reason.com. You are literally the Lupin proletariat. For those of you who don't know, the Lupin proletariat is a group in Marxist thought that describes people who are supposed to be a part of the working class but were so stupid that they ended up working against it. As described by historian Robert Bussard, they are a parasitical group at obsolete stages of social development that could not play a progressive role in society because they acted only out of ignorant self-interest. They are easily bribed by reactionary forces and were used to combat the true proletariat in their efforts to bring down the bourgeoisie. And because they exploit society for their own ends, they are exploited as a tool of destruction. Remind you of anyone? Anyways, communists, all I want from you is to at least actually follow communist theory or be honest and admit that your politics is all about posturing and looking good on social media. And to everyone else, I don't want people to be sick. I don't want everyone to stop washing their hands or to have absolutely zero systems in place to prevent disease outbreak over borders. I don't want social divide, chaos, or mayhem. But I'd also rather not have people enslaved under rules that are arbitrarily applied based on whether you are wealthy or not. Because that doesn't even help us be healthier. And you know what? If you are mega wealthy watching this video, I gotta tell you, you should be worried too. Because this is a recipe for disaster. A recipe for some 1700s France shenanigans. And I don't want any of it, because I know we all end up at the guillotine at the end of that story. I just want to grill, guys. And I think I'm gonna go do just that and finish my beer. But thank you. I needed to get this out of my system. This is my therapy, raging on YouTube. And if you enjoy it, I'm very glad. Anyways, I will see you next time, next rant, maybe on live stream, because I'm going to start on Twitch in a few weeks. If you want to watch me there, you can check out everything in the links below. Cheers!